Shadow Charizard looking to overfarm before firing off the air cutter, finally removing this boosted Primate from the field of play. We find ourselves in a shieldless game. The Steel Penguin very unlikely to return as I don't want to get blast burned to the face. Out comes Dragonite. In theory, something that resists fire, but someone forgot to tell Zard. Welcome back to the channel. We've hit week 2 of Season 24's Go Battle League, where the leagues have rotated. Ultra League is here, and oh my, honestly, it is the Wild West out there. I know a lot of people avoid this league like the plague due to the inaccessibility. However, I think Season 24's move update has been fantastic for those of you that don't currently play. If you look on PvP, there is around 20 or 30 buffed non-XL Pokemon that makes this league more accessible than ever. I actually believe it's the most accessible it's ever been since XLs were first released. That brings us on very nicely to today's featured Pokemon, the OG. The Kanto starter, the mighty Shadow Charizard. This Pokemon once reigned supreme in Ultra League, being an absolute terrifying Pokemon with its lightning fast energy generation and ability to nuke the absolute shit out of things with that very busted move of Blast Burn. Wing attack got nerfed, its reign of terror come to an end. Thankfully, Season 24's move update gave it not one, but 2 fantastic quick moves, making it as fast or even faster than it's ever been. You know what I'm going to tell you, it's back, it's better than ever, and I cannot wait to shoutcast today's battles. Today's battles have been sent into the channel by my friend, my Discord moderator, and local Alpha Club. With all that being said, without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in Game 1, Alpha Club leads Shadow Empoleon, another very good non-XL pick that I personally ran myself last night, paired with another non-XL in the form of Dragonite. But let's not get distracted. We see a Alolan Sandslash in the lead position. The opponent say switches into Runerigus. Empoleon gonna fire off the Hydro Cannon, forcing the first protection of the game. Even if the opponent full center Shadow Ball 1 would be survivable. The opponent only throws the Brutal Swing. The Penguin shrugs off the damage, fires off yet another Hydro Cannon, forcing the opponent all shields down. I think I already know how this battle is going to end. We've got Charizard with a 2-0 shield advantage. What could possibly go wrong? Alpha Club sends out Dusknoir. Dusknoir tanks the Brutal Swing. Alpha Club looks to commit to good timing, but unfortunately it's going to get outpaced. He's actually not interested in shielding up Dusknoir. Just going to put all on a 2-0 shield advantage, Zard, and I have all the time in the world for this play. Charizard enters the arena, races the air cutter. Unfortunately, not getting the boost. The opponent sends out Sandslash. Of course, going to look to make the catch. However, trainer, I'm not sure your Dusknoir is going to tank this Blast Burn well whatsoever. Blast Burn, almost a one-hit KO. Charizard able to Dragon Breath farm down. Back out comes Sandslash. Sandslash, double weak to fire. This Blast Burn probably kills this Sonic the Hedgehog and every Sandslash that's ever entered the Go Battle League. And we're off to a 1-0 start. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. We are triple weak to Bellybolt. We're ABA weak to Electric, and of course they are using Sucker Punch as opposed to Thundershock, which means Dusknoir would also be taking fast move pressure from this thing too. We farm up, throw the Hydro Cannon on the charge attack priority. Alpha Club tanks the Parabolic Charge, not by much, and we see the pivot into Dusknoir. Bellybolt already the next Parabolic Charge, about to boost their defense one further stage, and this Bellybolt is very quickly getting out of hand. Alpha Club going for the Dynamic Punch, which actually is the most energy efficient move. Oh my god. That did nothing. The second Dynamic Punch barely leaves a dent, and the opponent able to fully Sucker Punch farm us down afterwards. We are going to need Charizard to do so much heavy lifting in this battle. Alpha Club sends out Zard, farms up, makes the catch, back onto the Steel Penguin, keeping 2 shields intact. In a scenario like this, we're actually able to use the defense buff to our benefit, meaning Charizard's going to get even more farm. Charizard going to invest the first Protect Shield, blocking up the Parabolic Charge, and we finally remove Bellybolt from the field of play. Out comes Lapras. The opponent makes a very nice catch, catching onto Togekiss, but Togekiss instantly gets rocked into the red health range. Alpha Club overfarms as much as he physically can, fires off the air cutter. The issue for us now is that we're very much in danger of getting fast move beat down. If you even watched one of my videos previously, you'll know I never bait. However, in this scenario, our only win con is throwing the air cutter, which the opponent shields, getting the boost and the Blast Burn knocking out, as a Blast Burn does around 55%. Neither of them outcomes occur, and unfortunately this one does end in heartbreaking defeat. A very tough team for us. Heading into the next battle, we are running it back. Run a team triple week to Bellybolt, and Bellybolt will be here, there, and every fucking where. Let's see if Alpha Club can make an adjustment and beat this huge core breaker. We throw 7 Steel Wings and the Hydro Cannon on the charge attack priority, once again forcing the Protect Shield. People wonder why I hate this Pokemon. Hydro Cannon would be easily survivable for them, but of course they're just going to shield the first move and buff up that defense before taking any damage. The adjustment we made in this battle is invest in a Protect Shield, looking to get off some meaningful damage, but the opponent actually 2-shield Bellybolt, which is kind of brutal. Dustoir enters the arena. Once again, Alpha Club looks to throw a good fast move timing. I always preach good fast move timing. However, I think an argument could be made there that we should be spamming that dynamic punch, looking to get it off before the opponent buff up the defense yet further. We land the dynamic punch, save Dustoir as a potential sack swap, and here comes Zard. Alpha Club instantly puts up the final Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming parabolic charge. Alpha Club looks to overfarm, and he's forced to full send a Blast Burn to finally remove Bellybolt from the field of play. Down goes Bellybolt, out comes Cresselia. Usually a good matchup for Charizard, but not after we're already so severely chipped. Alpha Club full sends the Blast Burn. As the opponent has no shields, Blast Burn rocks them below the half health range. We attempt to catch attempt unsuccessful, but Dustoir on fractional HP reaches the Shadow Punch, doing almost all Cresselia's remaining HP. Cresselia fires off the grass, not removing us from the field of play. Charizard, Dragon Breath farms down. Out comes Fortress. No, Alpha Club. This Fortress had a family. Fortress straight in and straight out. And Alpha Club able to emerge victorious. GG's, and thanks for playing. If you are someone that knew that Fortress, invitations to its funeral will be in the post. Heading into the next battle, we see Skeleturge in the lead position. This is definitely somewhat of a scuffed matchup. We're hitting for resisted with our Steel Wings. The Hydro Cannon would pretty much pick up a one-hit KO. We're taking neutral from the fast move pressure. If they full send a Shadow Ball, we're also almost going to get knocked out. The opponent settle for the Torch Song, which is a decision they might live to regret, meaning the Penguins able to fire off yet another Hydro Cannon and very quickly force the opponent all shields down. Alpha Club, not wishing to concede a farm down, pivots into Dustoir, and Dustoir running Hex, so incredibly spammy, able to outpace to the Shadow Punch, and Shadow Punch rocks them onto fractional HP. Once again, we can see Alpha Club's strategy. 2 shield Zard and just boom everything. Out comes Walrein. Interesting choice with no shields. What is in the back you're going to send Walrein into something that clearly is going to run Dynamic Punch? If I had to hazard a guess, I'm guessing it's a fighting type that'll be applying literally no fast move pressure. We send out Charizard with his 2 to no shield advantage. Very quickly give up one of them Protect Shields, shielding up the Icicle Sphere, and out comes Swampert. Swampert, in theory, is a Pokemon that does resist fire, but Charizard simply does not care about typing effectiveness whatsoever. Blast Burn, absurd damage. Alpha Club now with no shields, too high behind, farms up, makes the catch. Back onto the Penguin. Hey trainer, remember me. Empoleon tanks the Hydro Cannon. Charizard looks to farm up to the double air cutter. The opponent makes the catch. Back onto Walrein. But that catch is not going to change the outcome of this battle. The first air cutter removes Walrein from the field of play. We're doubled up. The second air cutter knocks out Swampert, and Charizard sweeps the back line. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see the Steel Penguin into an opposing Steel Penguin. Of course, ours is better as with the Shadow variant. The opponent switches into Primeape, and we send out Dustoir. I'm guessing we went into Dustoir here, as opposed to Charizard. Alpha Club's objective in this battle is to obtain himself a shield advantage. Shadow Punch does exactly that, as the opponent looks to commit to their Primeape. So much like Alpha Club did, you never want to shield the first Rage Fist, as Rage Fist does come with a 100% chance to boost up the user's attack, meaning subsequent ones after the first will do more. We see Alpha Club invest 1 Protect Shield, look to force the opponent all shields down. The opponent obliged, putting up that final Protect Shield. And we see the quickest no shield of Alpha Club's GBL career as he looks to save the final Protect Shield for Zard. Shadow Charizard enters the arena, going to be investing the final Protect Shield, blocking up the boosted Rage Fist. Alpha Club looks to overfarm, load up on energy, fire off the air cutter, finally removing the boosted Primeape from the field of play. I highly doubt the Steel Penguin returns. They don't want to get Blast Burn to the face. With that in mind, the opponent sends out Dragonite. In theory, a Pokemon that does resist fire, but someone forgot to tell Zard. Blast Burn, even resisted, picks up that one-hit KO. Get that Dragonite off my screen. The Penguin temporarily returns before the opponent concedes the match. They don't want that work. Heading into the next battle, we led Empoleon into Ho-Oh. The opponent save switches into Lugia. Did I not tell you it's the Wild West? What is this team? Shiny Shadow Lugia. Trainer, I don't know who you are, where you are, but send me these battles. Oof! The opponent even nuked us through 2 Protect Shields with a Shadow Aero Blast. Wow. Empoleon re-enters the arena, looks to overfarm, fire off the Hydro Cannon, finally removing Lugia from the field of play. The opponent save Lugia, send out Eternatus. How are you supposed to shoutcast these battles, man? What is going on? I'll be honest, motivation to play and even make content for the past few seasons has been low. But Season 24 is quality. It is so much fun. Alpha Club sends out Charizard, goes to the one shield, Dragon Breath farm down. Ho-Oh re-enters the arena, Blast Burn commands the final Protect shield. Alpha Club still one shield to hide behind, going to be invested in Charizard. We're going to shield up the Brave Bird. The opponent give us that wham, bam combo play. Send back out Lugia. Fly removes Charizard from the field of play. But unfortunately for our opponent, this one is going to end in heartbreaking defeat. Empoleon able to Metal Sound farm down. Lugia's remaining HP, leaving with the Hydro Cannon. That is going to be all she wrote. But huge shout out to that opponent. That team was insanity. Heading into the next battle. The Steel Penguin stares down Dragonite. These two, usually team partners, but this time they're facing off against one another. We farm up, look to make the catch. Onto Dustoir. The opponent full sent the Superpower 2. They are not a fan of that play and they instantly concede the match. Heading into the next battle. Oh man, yet another Bellybolt. To be honest, we're 1-1 against Bellybolt. Let's see if Alpha Club, despite being triple weak to this thing, can have a positive win rate against it. To this point in the video, all three Bellybolt leads have done exactly the same. Shielded up the first move and then looked to buff up their defense. Let's see if this opponent is going to be super annoying and just double shield the Hydro Cannons despite being buffed up. Wow, a Bellybolt user that recognises we can actually tank a move. Can you believe it? If truth be told, this is probably worse for us, as we're in even shields and this Bellybolt is very buffed up. Again, much like I said previously, an argument could be made there to spam this dynamic punch before the opponent buff up the defense yet further. Alpha Club, look now, Jamie Finn, you always tell me about fast move timing, and now you're out here trying to tell me to spam moves and alignment. Make your bloody mind up. On a more serious note, the thought process and why you should try an alignment there is because the dynamic punch would do more before the opponent buff up the defense by another stage. We sent out Charizard, who was able to Dragon Breath farm down Bellybolt's remaining HP, get an energy lead and Blast Burn this incoming Lapras. We shield up the Sparkling Aria, farm to the Blast Burn bait with the Air Cutter. Oh my days, stay in school kids and learn to count. We make a back-breaking catch back onto Dustoir, giving ourselves a fighting chance. But unfortunately, that is not something we can one-shot and our Dragon Breaths are double resisted. Charizard hits hard, but Galarian Weezing able to survive one Blast Burn. The opponent gonna fire off the Sludge, and this one does end in heartbreaking defeat, but very valiant effort. GG's to both trainers. Heading into the next battle, we lead the Steel Penguin into Feraligatr. In this battle of water types, unless the opponent's on crunch, their charge moves will be fully walled. However, they are applying fast move pressure, unlike us, as the Shadow Claws hit for neutral, whereas our Metal Sounds do hit for resisted. The opponent reveal they are running crunch as a secondary charge move. They land the crunch before sending out Clefable, which is certainly an interesting choice, sending out a fairy into our loaded steel type. Oh my gosh, the opponent was spamming that Swift, which was able to catch on Dustoir, which is a double resisted catch. Alpha Club overfarms, fires off the Shadow Punch. Shadow Punch isn't quite lethal, but we are able to survive any one move, and the next Shadow Punch will be removing this Clefable from the field of play. Here we see Alpha Club throw an alignment, but there is method in the madness. If we committed to 3, which would be good fast move timing, the opponent would have been able to Swift and actually take alignment. Alpha Club shores up the mid-game matchup, sends back out the Steel Penguin into this Feraligatr, fires off the Drill Peck. Drill Peck forces the opponent's final Protect shield. The opponent bank a charge move and catch onto Jellicent. Drill Peck, decent damage. Hopefully put them in a range where one Blast Burn will be lethal. This game is going to get dicey. Shadow Charizard has been nuking things even when resisted, but the question now becomes, is this resisted Blast Burn going to knock out one of the bulkiest water types in the meta? Blast Burn! Oof. Leaves them on fractional HP. We invest the Protect Shield, blocking up the Surf. Switch timer not up. Alpha Club unable to catch out of this matchup. The opponent end up trapping us into the charge attack priority. Air Cutter simply doesn't cut it. Hydro Cannon, on the other hand, certainly does. The Penguin gets Shadow Claw farmed down, and that one does end in heartbreaking defeat. GG's that opponent. In the next battle, we see absolute sacrilege. Why is there a purified Poke on my screen? I feel physically sick. Alpha Club, you know the drill, buddy. We're not allowed to lose to purified Pokemon. If you lose to one, I'm actually removing you off my friends list. Of course, I am joking, but that was a fantastic lead for us. The opponent makes the pivot into Feraligatr, but in this matchup, you don't really want to switch out super late as we pace at the same speed and they've given us too much of an energy lead. Alpha Club fires off the next Drill Peck, forcing the opponent's first Protect Shield. We're already at Drill Peck number 3, and we force both Protect Shields of this Angry Alligator here in the mid-game matchup. Rather than concede a farm down, we see the pivot into Dusknoir. Look to use it as a damage sponge. We tank the Hydro Cannon, undertap the Shadow Punch, able to move Feraligatr from the field of play. Back out comes Craydiddy. But as they're running Acid, the opponent's going to be forced to dump energies. I never ever Acid farming down a Ghost type. Charizard now has that magical 2 to no shield advantage, and we are looking in a fantastic spot. As Alpha Club is actually opting for Dragon Breath as opposed to Ember. I do think Dragon Breath's better, but the point I'm trying to make is we are going to outpace that Rock Tomb by a single turn. If we was on Ember, we'd be 665 and be able to charge attack Proritium. Quite surprised the Alpha Club not throw this Blast Burn before they reach yet another Rock Tomb. Potentially a small miscount there. Alpha Club fires off the Blast Burn despite it being 2-stage debuff, able to knock out. Out comes Corviknight, quite surprised he has not reset this debuff. But even at -2, Charizard still going to make quick work of Corviknight, reaching back-to-back Blast Burns, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's that opponent. It's kind of funny to think that even at -2, Charizard hits harder than probably a majority of these boring, bulky XL Pokemon. In the next battle, yet another Bellybolt in the lead position. Holy, we land a Hydro Cannon. That is definitely advantageous for us. We tank the Parabolic Charge, make the pivot into Dusknoir. Dusknoir going to be tasked with tanking yet another Parabolic Charge. This one is the Thundershock variant, so they're so incredibly spammy. The opponent land a Parabolic Charge, reset that debuff, and then send out Corviknight. Corviknight greeted with the Dynamic Punch. As I've said previously, despite Dynamic Punch not getting same type attack bonus, it is the most energy efficient move because Dynamic Punch is a very good charge move, whereas Shadow Punch is cheap, is spammy, but it's just a bit meh. I see a lot of people use Dusknoir and they're always going for Shadow Punch in neutral matchups. However, that definitely is not the correct play. You should always try and be the most energy efficient you can. We ended up throwing on CMP, so with that in mind, Alpha Club knows the opponent's one of these trainers that love to spam charge moves as soon as they get it. We're able to catch back onto the low health Penguin, back out comes Bellybolt, and we go over quite a risky bait as Air Cutter simply will not cut it. I'm guessing Alpha Club's thought process is that even if the opponent call it, we can go for the 1 shield, Dragon Breath farm down, and hope this energy goes places in the back. Out comes Lapras, but Charizard down a Protect Shield. Isn't looking in the best spot, to be honest. Alpha Club full sends the Blast Burn, which unfortunately bounces off the Protect Shield. Alpha Club undeterred YOLOs yet another Blast Burn. This one's able to land. This game's over. The opponent's doubled up here, so even if Alpha Club invests the Protect Shield here, the opponent can just shield this up, and in turn, they've probably already hit their Sparkling Aria, and this one is going to end in heartbreaking defeat. You can't win them all. GG's to that opponent. That Bellybolt lead is giving this team problem after problem. Heading into the next battle, Alpha Club leads Shadow Empoleon into Corviknight, aka PV Poke's #1 ranked pick. Alpha Club says no thank you. We see the immediate pivot into Dusknoir. Dusknoir races that Dynamic Punch, wanting to get off some meaningful damage before we potentially get payback to the face. I highly doubt Alpha Club respects this move. We're seeing he loves to save his shields for Charizard. The opponent able to land that payback, nuking us through 2 Protect Shields before sending out Runerigas. So all you know what's in the back, it is going to be Regidrago, as of course this is the team that Homesize Henry posted earlier. You know what it's like, whatever he posts, everyone's going to be copying it. So if you want to get some wins, you can essentially just hard counter whatever he posts, and you're going to be in a good place. Another top tip, before you battle, you can open up YouTube, see what the likes of Axon, Jonkus, Rise, Henry post, so you know what teams to expect. I'm 99.9% sure this will be Regidrago, or it'll probably be some other dragon if they don't have Regidrago. There it is. There it is. Call me Mystic Meg. However, I wonder if Alpha Club actually knew the team composition before he played this battle. Probably not. I received this battle submission very late last night, so Alpha Club would have been doing these battles around the same time Homesize Henry was streaming. Potentially could have seen what he was running before he queued up. However, he was able to land the Blast Burn, nuking Regidrago. Charizard reminding us all once again that it does not care about typings. We throw the world's most unnecessary Blast Burn, making a more unnecessary catch. The opponent doesn't want the smoke, and Alpha Club will be emerging victorious. GG's, and thanks for playing. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's showcase. A huge thank you to Alpha Club. That was some epic entertainment. Keep up the good work, buddy. What can I say? Shadow Charizard is back. It is better than ever. And without a doubt, one of the most ruthless closers in the entire meta. If you can get an energy lead, a shield advantage, you are going to be in such a good spot. Time and time again, we saw, even in matchups where Charizard's Blast Burn was resisted, it just did ridiculous damage. Charizard's very attack weighted, Blast Burn, one of the best moves in the game. Throw in Shadow bonus, and you are off to the races. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you'd like your battles featured on my channel. A link to our battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.